Hello everybody, my name is Trollmaker, and this is Wargame Red Dragon. So we have a match today featuring on the blue 4 side, we have Herrmaus3r, brand new to the channel, welcome Herrmaus3r, and his opponent, not an unknown to the channel, choosing to name himself General, this is Buck Turgidson. And Buck Turgidson, of course, invented the replay websites for Airland Battle. I'm almost certain European Escalation as well, and Red Dragon. I'm almost certain he's a member of PLF. He's not a high competing member of it, but he's a very, very solid player. We've seen him on the channel. He plays very well, and this is a 1v1 match, not a 1v1 map, because this is actually, I think, a 3v3 map, or it might be a 2v2 map. But how it breaks down is pretty interesting for that particular dynamic. If you're playing this as a 2v2, because in a 2v2, you have Echo and Bravo going to, and Delta as well. These three will be going off to NATO guaranteed. And then on the other side of this, we have Juliet, Foxtrot, and we have Hotel. There's only a single place in the entire map that's going to be contested, and that's going to be your demarcation line right here, which is diagonal. And you know, there's a slight balance problem here, and this map will favor very heavily in terms of Herrmaus3r. And in terms of a 1v1, there's a lot of things they can do here with this. My recommendation, of course, if I was playing this, would be to charge one side. Even in a 2v2, I would just charge one side. Get your guaranteed, go for his one. This area here, this Delta Foxtrot area, is kind of problematic because when we zoom in, we'll notice there's lots and lots and lots of towns here. And towns are going to be very, very problematic for us because very few units can defend against a lot of stuff. And this Gulf region's kind of problematic as well because it's very, very open. And there's no towns on each side to defend it. So relatively asymmetrical map, but I hope one of these teams decides to push into either Echo or Hotel, because that's a very easy region to push, and it's also going to get you a very high yield because it gives you access to cutting off almost all reinforcements from this base here, Kilo, which is also the air route. Now the benefits roughly the same over here, except there's a mountain in the way, so staging units is going to be a little bit harder, but you can place your anti-air infantry all along these mountains to stop any kind of air rush. But they're both very, very solid positions, and I do enjoy this map quite a bit. And looks like we're going to see a little bit of an air rush here from Herrmaus3r, and looks like he's playing as an American deck. He's got his Blackhawks, he's got his Twin Hueys, ASLAV-PC, so that's definitely very American. And looking at Buck Turgidson, judging by the Shilkas, it looks like he's playing a Russian deck. He's also got the T-80 UK, which is, you know, Soviet only, and or USSR only, I should say. And it looks like he's going to be playing very ground-based. He's got a lot of Shilkas. That's 8 Shilkas. Shilkas, of course, are pretty cheap. I'm going to gather somewhere between 15 and 20 points each. They can be doubled over as an anti-infantry option because that autocannon is just so good. It can also be used against helicopters, and they have a moderate amount of effectiveness against airplanes. But of course, with airplanes and any kind of fighter jets, you'd rather have those rockets come in with that big burst damage. Now, of course, these are radar-based, so that means SEAD fighters will be very, very popular here. And we're just going to speed this ahead to see how this gets going. Keep in mind, we have an air rush coming in against a person who's playing purely ground. And there we are off! The air rush is coming in. An impending infantry rush is coming in. Now, air rush, unfortunately, will not be too powerful in this map, because it will only allow you to grab these sections here, but you kind of note that the vehicles will move to this here in time, so you won't be able to air rush into somebody else's zone, and the air rush into your own zone won't provide you that much more benefit, unfortunately. It just won't be as cost effective as you'd hope. Now, will he go all the way for Hotel? He's going to go for the town in the middle. The town in the middle is usually a pretty big battleground because it's a really weird intersection. Nightmare for traffic, I guarantee you. I've driven this. And yes, that's what he's going to go for. Now, getting this zone here opens you up for aggression because you'll know there's no towns defending here, so you can kind of put AT, AA all along here and stage in. And when you attack him with tanks, they can't have any sneaky sneaky devils there. U.S. Marines are all deployed, should push forward very quickly though, otherwise this will be all for naught. And looking at this other flank, yes, looks like the infantry not even deployed yet, a little bit sloppy and slow here. In fact, 2 chaparrals being binded together, generally a bad move. The chaparral, any kind of anti-air unit you want to spread out and split up so that you have, you know, less losses per hit kind of sort of situation. And actually moving his infantry into this town here, opting to not even get infantry in his own foxtrot, rather unusual. There is a ranger coming in here from Herrmaus3r trying to spot some vision, and the actual knowledge of Herrmaus3r so far rather limited. Buck Turgidson, you know, roughly the same amount, not too much confrontation happening yet. And generally speaking, a 1v1 will be a little bit slower and more deliberate, but one big favor on behalf of Buck Turgidson is he's got 2 of these T80 UKs here. So in the long run, they'll be very, very hard to remove with stuff in. Look, LAV-ATs winding up, firing on these BTR-70s that are trying to get in. Will not take the hit. And will this other LAV-AT fire? Now keep in mind, these are Saklos, so if he can line of sight every single shot, the shots will miss while in the air, guaranteed. So we got some SPz Strelas and Conquerors M's being put in this forward position, as well as some, looks like some more napalm infantry and a big pile of infantry of these BMP-2s coming in. BMP-2s, of course, are an anti-tank, anti-infantry hybrid, and this ranger squad is getting very deadly as there's nothing in these towns spotting at all. I would have even split up one of these infantry and put one in there, because infantry in towns can hold a position for quite some time. And the BMP-2 is moving into position. The LAV-AT is trying to get a better angle of attack. Range, of course, is a huge benefit of this, whereas the BMP-2, I'm pretty sure, has more armor. A lot more. 3, 4 versus, yeah, 1. So much, much higher. And LAV-AT does get the angle of attack. Firing begins. Will he hit the BMP-2s? Looks like, yes, he does get 2 good hits, and 1 survives, and he's having problems aiming. A little bit of a targeting bug right now. That's unfortunate, and LAV-AT should be able to wipe out all of these BMP-2s relatively easy. He's going to move away. He's moving away just out of range, and the Motostrelkis are walking across. Now, there's no tanks here yet. There are tanks being rallied in. There's 2 Abrams, but there's no tanks here yet. So this Motostrelki should be able to move up, wipe out these Rangers, get this AA and this anti-tank and this anti-air until these Abrams show up to kind of cleave them down. But on the note of the Abrams, there's also some Conquerors here, which will pack a pretty mighty punch. Now, we haven't seen too much of plain airplay yet, and I know this was a huge thing in Airland Battle. It's a huge thing in Red Dragon as well. When you're playing 1v1, you want to garner for position. So if it's not a cheap like napalm plane or a cheap bomber or anything like that, it's not going to have a high amount of effectiveness. And napalm owners, napalm openers will be popular. If and only if they can do ridiculous amounts of damage. Now, having said that, there's kind of a bang for your buck type of situation with those. You can absolutely just abuse napalm by spamming them while the anti-air is actually light. But that's also a cost analysis, and in this particular matchup, neither has found that wanting. So big hit for the LAV-AT. Will in fact get another ring of veterancy on one of these LAV-ATs. And he will be moving it away to kind of deal with this really slow-paced infantry rush, which unfortunately just absolutely nothing anti-infantry to deploy against Golf, and all the infantry in the area that could have actually hit into Foxtrot, not there. Now this position here is very interesting with this tank here, because he can turn off guns, and then once the unit gets around here, he can just completely vaporize with side shots. I'm not saying he's going to do that, but that's an option that he can easily use. Now, is that spotted is another question. And yes, actually, Herrmaus3r are able to spot those T-55 AM2s, so any kind of ambush with these tanks will not be possible. And here comes another one of these T-80 UKs coming in to go ahead and grab this Golf base. Now, the Abrams are running up, and they're running up into Conqueror's fires. There's not a ton of them, actually, and he could actually easily remove these, but not wanting to play the risky game, going to run these guys away and basically forfeit this Golf location. Now, so far, Herrmaus3r is in the lead with 160 points, but having lost this 4-point base, and with Buck Turgidson grabbing this 4-point base, it means that Buck is going to have a lot more units. And, you know, if you look at the points, this is a 25% increase in your actual stuff, your points. And that's going to help you a ton. And in terms of Herrmaus3r, he hasn't captured Delta yet. He hasn't captured Echo yet. Instead, he's been investing in these very expensive units. This longbow, super, super expensive, 150 points. It does pack a pretty crazy punch. And with the T55 AM2s spotted here, he might be able to pick these off very easily. And they're 60 points each, so he only needs to get a few more kills, and that longbow will have paid off its investment. Now, there are a lot of big problems with what Herrmaus3r is doing. But in terms of investment, Herrmaus3r only has to really do so much damage. Like if he can wipe out Golf, for example, then his investment of units would have paid off over the the extra advantage of grabbing these two-point bases. And here comes a Raven. This is our anti-radar bomber, and there's tons of shield targets here. So this is going to be, like I said, a very, very cost-effective unit. And he's not going to run in with it. He's just going to kind of graze along the sides, get some pot shots, spin around again, and go for it again. Air superiority fighters can be brought out, but will they? Who knows? They're very, very expensive. And he gets his second pot shot and runs away. Gets a kill as well. Now, with these anti-radar fighters, after the second shot, they'll always run forward and curve out. And look at this longbow actually going to get a fire. So a lot of times with the anti-radar, if they have too much anti-air units, it's actually more worthwhile to run it away. And this longbow is actually having a good day, wiping out almost 4 tanks here. Will it? Yep, 4 tanks and a recon. And here comes an SC-275. He's saying, like, I'm not going to take it. Longbows are really hard to deal with. You almost entirely need an anti-air helicopter to take them out. And they're just nasty, 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 nasty men. Riflemen versus Motostrelki. I would rather predict a Soviet win, but given the fact that the morale on these Motostrelkis is terrible right now, it looks like the Riflemen might be able to take this, and the Rangers actually going to go ahead and join in, add a little bit of firepower here. Going to do that, and if he targets these Rangers, he can kill them. But looks like the Motostrelkis will go down. Pretty brutal in those morale losses, and these units are basically in panic. They probably won't run away, but dear God, that's brutal. Shiluka's coming in. Oh my God, F-16 Eagle just cluster bombing random locations. The air abuse has begun. This is kind of what 1v1 comes down to. You either spam out your artillery, or you spam out your, oh my God, T-80 UK is going to fire on this LAV-82. Oh my God, LAV-80, here he goes. 1 shot. Oh my God, he's dead. 2 shot, he's going to get a second shot. Defensive abilities of the T-80 UK are good. We're going to pick up some shield as well. Anyway, yeah, what was I saying? I was saying that our Herrmaus3r is definitely spanking Turgidson here. Now, standard 1v1, it's usually 1,500 points, but this is on a 2v2 map, and I'm guessing that the income is set a little higher than normal. And so, it's going to be quite high. And I guess when he's turns again, so that's kind of brutal. This longbow has more than paid itself off. It's tripled its value already. Highly recommended unit from a lot of players. And now with these riflemen being able to secure these forests, being able to grab this Conquerors, we should be seeing a safe move up of this Bradley IFV, a lot of ATs and whatnot, kind of helping. Oh, Shiluka gets shots up on the, all dead, and there's no anti-air here anymore, so all these T-55 AMTs could be for naught. T-80 UK temporarily removed, and here comes a Raven, gonna get no shots because there's nothing left for him to kill. And the longbow completely out of ammunition. When you see a longbow that's burned through 16 Hellfire rockets, you just immediately know something wrong has happened. And we're going to see some a pretty massive artillery spread. Might be peppering in preparation for an attack. That's a pretty common option. We might be even going for these vehicles here. But yes, almost all the defenses at Delta have been removed, and now Herrmaus3r, I'm assuming that's his name, Herrmaus3r, is pretty well getting a pretty sophisticated lead here with 600 points ahead. And unfortunately, Turgidson hasn't had enough time holding Golf to get a real superior income advantage that'll allow him to make a solid push and kill. And more of these Shilukas coming out. And pro tip if you're a new player, Shilukas, anything that says radar, you hover over the name and you see the bottom it says radar. I mean, you should immediately turn that weapon off if you know that there's any sort of anti-radar bomber out there, because nothing sucks more than losing that in the air. And here comes another attack here. We have T80 UK, gonna take a big stun and barely surviving, 3 hit points left. Note there's a Book here, Book super long range, pretty smashing missiles, but once again, you need to turn those weapons off, because if you don't turn those weapons off, the radar bombers will just kill you. And the T80 UK is actually forced to vacate the area. Cobra is coming overhead of a Conqueror's. Conqueror's completely wiped out. BTR-70 gonna go. There's actually some DAPs here as well. And a Shilka sliding in here. Here comes the Raven. This is what I'm talking about. The Raven gonna go around from their pass and try and knock out these Shilkas. But there's already DAP and Cobra's already trying to fire. If he can get these Shilkas dead in time. Now there's still probably too many. He's probably gonna have to back off these helicopters. This DAP is might become a sacrificial goat or sacrificial lamb, depending on how you look at it. Fires one more rocket off, gets a Shilka, and he's off. He's gone. Now there's still 2 left. They can still defend, but if another Raven comes in soon enough, that would be problematic. Ravens to me are kind of like a cost thing, like, you know, their time thing. You pay for it and you get it for the entire game, and you know there's no real fear of losing it because you're destroying the things that could potentially destroy it. And as long as you're playing close to your base, which would be, you know, the demarcation line you set yourself by where your units are, you should be in a good position. Now we do have a supply problem here on the bottom here. The Lob ATs and the Bradleys do need some supply truck, and here comes the HEMTT coming in for that. And finally going to grab that Delta base. That's good. He just needs to grab the Echo base, and he'll be more than fine. It's just really unusual for him to grab this forward position here, and then, you know, not take advantage of that advantage. I almost said advantage of that advantage. Advantage of that position. Yikes. Alright, and it's going to take a lot of supply trucks to resupply the hit points on this T80 UK, so it could be a while before we see Gulf Base taken. But on the plus side for Buck Turgidson, he didn't lose that unit, which is better than what most players can see. And we're seeing a little bit of sliding up here of units, just slowly sliding these units. Like this Stinger's not in a particularly great position. When you're in the middle of a town, the only way this Stinger will actually get used if it flies directly overhead. Whereas if you put it on the edges, it has more vision, so it has more opportunity to fire. But at the same time, it's more at risk of dying, and oh my god! Oh my god! Look at all these. God's god. This is actually going to be an artillery unit. It's cheap. It's got numbers, right? That's all this thing is. It's got numbers, and given the way this game's going, given that he has an FOB, I'd almost start spam. You know, he was doing a little bit here, but I would start spamming at any target you can see, and looks like he can't see a single target, so that might be why he's not spamming it. Aha! Looks like Buck needs to get out some recons and some counter recons now. MI2 recon helicopter spotted by the Ranger here, and does that relation? Nope, doesn't see it himself. Problematic. So Buck's got a big place to pick up here. He's got to get 800 more points to stand a chance at this. And, I mean, he's been earning that much. He'll have that much worth of units. But whether or not he can kill that many units, that's another thing. Now here comes the Raven. Let's see if he's turned off these Shilkas. Kind of looks like it. These Ravens are not striking pay dirt, as it is. And, ooh, yes. Oh, he didn't turn off his Shilkas. Oh, God. Now you always make sure to turn them on when the Raven is evacuating, because you can get some pot shots off on him, get some health points off him, and make sure he doesn't come back later. And things like Books can actually just full-on kill. Bradley IFV in a great position to pick off any kind of reinforcements to this zone. And actually going to go auto-canning that down. That Bushmaster, so good. Going to get turning off his Sacklows actually, just so he can use that Bushmaster and gets all of the Shilkas with a cluster bomb. So this Herrmaus3r guy is pretty good. He's playing very well. So the map is not looking very well for Buck Turgidson. In terms of the map dynamic, if you remember, it should divide this way. The actual line though, is unfortunately being divided this way. So we're seeing a pretty solid performance here by Herrmaus3r, able to push a few inches on that border, which makes a huge difference in this game. And we're going to see if he can continue that. Now there is an SU-275 out, and that's actually a big deal. In the current patch, I'm pretty sure you can only get one of these guys out, but they're really powerful. And if he can pick off a few planes with that SU-275, he's going to be in good shape. Now he's keeping this SU-275 in the air, just so that you can kind of pick off anything that comes out as it comes out. There are a lot of traps and a lot of tricks you can play to kind of attack planes, but he's not actually taking advantage of any of these. Longbow actually moving up. Oh my god, he's going to pick off some of these Shilkas. This is going to be a bad day. Shilka firing back though. Oh my god. How many will he get? 1 Hellfire rocket. 2 Hellfire rockets. Oh, almost dead. Panicking actually. And 4th one going to get off. Nope, he is backing off. God, those longbows are so powerful. And here comes some blocks in the air too. Now the SU-275 is forced to evacuate. It would have been able to get off a shot at these blocks because the SU-275 is a medium range. And I guess I was wrong because here's the second one. So I guess you can get 2 of these in the patch. Or maybe he has 2 in his deck. And those are the only 2 that he can get. But he's, he's patrolling with both of these, keeping at least 1 in the air to try and fend off these Raven attacks. Ravens, almost every anti-Raider plane is very flexible and easily destroyable. So keeping these guys in the air is going to be very good. And this is basically, in team play there is no mid-game. It doesn't happen. There's just always stuff happening. Oh my god, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Buck. You're a madman. He just lost it. There goes a very expensive plane. There's no real mid-game in team play. The game just keeps going. Somebody's doing something always. In 1v1, there's definitely a mid-game where only small little skirmishes happen. And that's basically what's happening now. They're slowly trying to move things up. Trying to plot and plan and scheme for the final. I don't know why he's not moving this Bradley back. Like, this Conqueror has gotten 6 shots off so far. Oh my god, Raven again. And loses 1. Now, is that because he wasn't using reverse micro? That's the question. And nope, he was in fact using reverse micro. That was a pure, good, solid hit. Strike Eagle. Oh god, look at all those Moto Strelki splitting up and dying. All the vehicles that were carrying it is dead. And 50% hit points lost on every single one of those infantry. Absolutely brutal mismanagement here by Buck Turgidson. He has been pushed back out of Gulf by a person who had less bases. And here comes Phantom Bombers, a big follow-up. With these Shilkas, this is a funny trick, I should say. You should turn off your Shilkas until you see until there's a bomber or a helicopter coming out. But if you're deploying Ravens all the time, you might just turn off your Shilkas all the time. So a Raven comes out, someone's immediately going to turn off their Shilka. Follow that up, you bomb them with napalm, make them turn them back on. And then when that happens, come in with your Raven again, kill them all. And it's a neat little trick you can play. Revedka squad getting picked off by a Ranger team. Teams, of course, are much smaller, squads are much larger. Actually, I think they're both squads, because teams are only 2 people. And here's our epic cam, I guess. Oh my god, epic cam. Yes. And infantry are going to get picked off from the high ground Rangers, unfortunately. And there's actually another little Huey out here supporting the fight. And this napalm location was absolutely brutal. Shilka's damn near dead. Lots of infantry dead here. And we might see a forward push here by Herrmaus3r, who has actually been playing very aggressively. And here, the Goldvitkas are all winding up here. You can see Hyper Goldvitka fire. And I'm surprised that Herrmaus3r in his current position hasn't rallied out a ton of artillery himself. Generally speaking, if you want to push, you have to kind of flatten out the target location. And we have a nice round of fire here. And it is going for what? Where is this going to land? Maybe he was hitting that infantry. Looks like it was. Yes, going for that Ranger unit. So now there's BTR-7 again, picked off by a longbow of all things. Dear God. Are you going to see any kind of plane come in and try and take these out? Nope. Because this longbow is actually in a very exposed position. Note how the Stingers were right here. Not a particularly great high ground position to actually see. And we don't have any real anti-air on this side. So if he's bringing an SU-275, he could easily knock at that longbow. And here comes the Ravens again, followed by Strike Eagle. So you lead with your Ravens. knocking out any kind of anti-air that you can. Good, good, good. He's going to turn off his Shilkas. He did. You saw that. They're turned off. Now the Strike Eagle is going to come in. And, you know, he's forced to turn back on again. And hit the target. It's a small, micro, mini game that you're playing. The good players turn off their radar-based weapons to deal with the Ravens. And then the even better players abuse that to use these Phantom Bombers and those Strike Eagle types. And here comes the Phantom in again. Now, this shouldn't have as much success because they've turned back on all their weapons. STRELA going to go down potentially. Napalm actually just barely missing the location where the actual infantry are. And, oh, here comes another round. Generally speaking, you have two overlapping fires. You have a pattern. And in this case, it looks like it's going to be a teddy bear. This is our teddy bear pattern. Alright, so infantry forced out into the open, and the Bradley picking them all off. The Conqueror's completely out of rockets now. Rifleman rushing forward, and he's been using these napalm and these Strike Eagles to really push forward with this. SU-24M, sorry, coming forward. Gonna drop a bomb. Drop a bomb overhead, and here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, gets the Bradley. Doesn't get the Rifleman, which are, I would argue, the more higher profile target here. A BTR-T, brand new unit in the game. Firing some infantry shots. Needs to unload before this Bradley hits him, though. Or maybe this second shot will be the one. There he goes. Looks, Sapper's not going to survive that. Brutal. And there's only one little itty-bitty squad of Sappers here, and they're actually stunned and all getting picked off. The Conquerors will go down, and this push super, super cost-effective on top of everything else. The Conquerors firing on the Bradley gets it. If only he was in this town, he might have survived longer. Riflemen going to pick off this Conquerors team, and they're going to have a field day here. They're also going to grab this forward town, which means they'll be able to move into Juliet, which is, you know, a brutal position as well. And the more clustered, the less space your opponent has to work with, the more grouped up their units will be, and the more powerful things like napalm, artillery, and cluster bombs are going to be. The Govitkas are winding up again. I'm believing they're going to try and aim for these riflemen. That would be a very good target. There's 40 of them. They're not a high-profile target. They're pretty darn cheap. Let's see if I can pull up my infantry thing. Sticky keyboards are bad. 15 points each. So, oh my god, T80UK, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this, sir? Oh my god, he lost the T80UK. Here comes the artillery round. Firing in. Raven as well coming in to pick off 1, 2 Shilkas. Got some pot shots off actually. And the artillery here is being a little bit ineffective. Got one rifleman down a little bit, but now they've moved completely out of range of that artillery fire and are moving into the town subsections where they'll be able to get some juicy helicopter recon and vehicle carrier kills. And he hasn't actually repositioned this artillery, so he's going to be in a lot of trouble. This is going to be a 35-point kill. Dunzo. And he's moved into the towns, which are pretty artillery safe. It's you have to use a lot more artillery to kill an infantry in this area. And he might even grab this URL 274320. Oh, he's going to kill it. Oh, what a nasty bugger. Kills 2 of them for the points. He could have grabbed those and resupplied his riflemen. But either choice would have been good. He's almost winning right now, 500 points. And Buck is just getting spanked here. Now, he has repositioned slightly. Will get that rifleman, other rifleman squad. But not before all these infantry carrier vehicles, APCs, are wiped out, and these riflemen just good and sliding around. Actually got full veterancy, and one moved up to harden, all because these artillery shells are hitting damage around him, which is a wonky little mechanic. And here comes 2 T80UMs, which of course, if you remember correctly, this is the Soviet prototype, the T80UM, and they are like T80U times infinity. Now, the fact that he's running out this many units at once indicates that he probably was sitting on a lot of money and wasn't spending it effectively. I just saw a Strike Eagle, but I didn't see a bomb drop. He might have actually evacuated. So this is going to be a very, very late tank rush, a little bit of an all-in. We're seeing some smoke being laid down. Various positions, smoke quite good. And Bradley IFV going to go ahead and fire on this BMP-2 and going to push away himself. Now, there's not actually a lot for tank defense here. Longbow will come in. Does he have a second longbow? He might as well. Sometimes people like to do that kind of stuff. And longbow firing on the BMP-2 Auburn 1986s. Actually going to go for the Shilka. Interesting choice. Wiping out that anti-air even further. And now he's going to try and spanked this tank line, and there goes one. Longbow winding up again with his Hellfire rockets. Will he get a second kill? Gets the second kill. And as you move up, and keep in mind, this is a recon helicopter, people. He can see all this wooded area. Actually, going to move all these vehicles into the rifleman. I'm suspicious that he might just want to lose here, because this is particularly bad play. 90% of the points gained here, the game screen indicates, and Herrmaus3r only needs 300 more points, which, you know, these TE-80UMs they're quite expensive. You kill one of these, and that's it. I think this is it. I mean, this tank push is dead on arrival. Riflemen are going to relocate themselves. They're completely out of heat weapons, so they can't actually fire back at these tanks. And the longbow is actually just trying to reposition itself to get some targets, and might get T-80U. Oh my god, this is not good. We have a Shilka firing on the side here, actually getting the Shilkas, and the second one goes off. He's got to run though, only 2 hit points left. This is like blood vengeance right here. Oh my god, he got both of them. 1 hit point in his longbow. This longbow is a complete psycho killer boss. I guarantee you that at the end of this match, he will have like 1 billion T kills on record. And he's still firing. He's got another one left over. Might be going for this T-80UM, which is out in the open. Will he kill it? That's hard to say. It's rather difficult to kill a T-80UM with just single rockets. ASLAV-PC actually coming into defend. Bring in lots of defensive options, realizing that we have a tank push coming. And he's been playing very hyper-aggressive this game. And now it's only 200 points left. Most people would tap out by this point. This is a very tap-out worthy area, and here comes a block covering the skies. Should see some Strike Eagle action relatively soon. There we go. There's our Strike Eagle. And he can use that to flatten these tanks pretty easily. ASLAV-PC getting picked off by the tank ball. And what will happen? Will a T-80UM die to a cluster bomb? Which would be absolutely infuriating. Oh, he's moving them back. He sees the Strike Eagle. And will the damage be done? Will this end the match? Gets the hit. Only gets 1 hit point of 1. And look at this. Only down to 2 hit points left on this single T-80UM. So not much more left for him to do. One of these T-80UMs die. That's the match. We have tons of Shilkas moving up. Shilkas, of course, once again, they do have that auto cannon, so they'll be able to take out infantry relatively easily. And these ones especially easily because they can't actually fight back. And so you see some SU-24Ms coming up here to try and do a bombing run. If they die, that's it. And one down. Okay, down to 55 points. Raven's going to kind of try and win the day here. Raven also probably has a ridiculous number of kills. Gets 1 Shilka shot at. And the T-80UMs are trying to reposition themselves to a safer location. But there is another DAP here, which also has that Hellfire rocket. And does get a Shilka shot. Chaparral looks like it's going to be fired on by the T-80UM. And first one misses, so that's not any luck at all. 10 points left in this game. DAP is going to fire. He can kill that T-80. Oh my god, it moved. That was the worst shot ever. Yeah, of course. The DAPs have that same kind of SACLO system. SAL-H is another SACLO system, and they have to lock on to their target. They have to see their target, or it fizzles out of control and it doesn't do anything. And final shot on the T-80UM should be the game ender, and Shazam. There we go, folks. Introducing Herrmaus3r, insanely good player, sickly good. But yeah, I would call that a very unusual tactic because, you know, he didn't take all his bases very quickly. He took them a long way. He spent a lot of the game stacking out units and destroying and trading cost effectively. So very, very solid performance here by Herrmaus3r. My name is Troublemaker. I'll see you guys next week with another match.